All right, and we're rolling. Everybody, welcome back to the Ali Iqbal Show. I'm your host, Ali Iqbal. Today we have a very, very, very special guest, probably one of the biggest guests that's ever been on the show, ever. Before we get into that, I gotta plug myself. My name is Ali. I'm a real estate agent here on Long Island. If you need help buying, selling, leasing, or renting, I want to help you, and I want to make your process as easy, simple, and convenient as possible. So be sure to give me a call, 631-604-8567. Again, that's 631-604-8567. Now, today we've got on probably one of the biggest faces in real estate and the real estate coaching world and in real estate in general. Somebody who has been in the business for many years now, and was building up his real estate career and ended up losing it all in the 2008 financial crisis. Worked on an oil rig, came back into the real estate game, and has been selling 100 properties a year ever since 2013, crushing it ever since. Everybody, I want you to give a warm round of applause and a very, very warm welcome to our good friend, Ricky Carruth. Ricky, how you doing, man?
What's up, buddy?
All right, Ricky, so for those of us who aren't familiar with you, could you just give us a little bit of a background on yourself, where you came from, how you got into real estate, and just a little bit more about you?
Man, I'm just in Alabama, right? I grew up down here on the beach, roofing houses with my dad. Got into real estate after I dropped out of college and made a lot of money quick, lost a lot of money quick, went back and started roofing houses again and stuff. And got back in real estate, man, after I read 100 books and decided, I wasn't going to give up on it. I didn't know if I'd ever sell a property again. But at the end of the day, the biggest lesson that I learned was that it's not about the money, right? When you take the money out of the equation and you realize how abundant the business really is, then you're on to something at that point. And you can really build a business that will withstand. Because when I lost everything in the crash, that's one thing that I wanted, was never to lose it all ever again. That's a really horrible feeling, to make it and then lose it. And so that was my biggest thing, is I wanted to build a foundation and a business that could never be wavered. And that's what I did, man. That's what I did. I realized that, when you build your business on people, then nothing can really bring it down, because people aren't going anywhere. And, I just fought my way back to the top. And like you said, been selling 100 properties for a while now, every year, single agent. And I was the number one Remax agent in Alabama, 3 different years. And I wrote 2 books, started coaching, speaking, writing. And I'm on this new mission to just help agents, right? I'm the first completely free coach. I just want to help agents. I want to reduce the failure rates. And I want to build a legacy that will carry on from generation to generation to generation.
That's awesome, man. It's great to hear. But so you how did you essentially get into real estate? Who is there somebody in your life, maybe a mentor, a friend, a family member who turned you on to real estate and really got you into the business?
Well, my mom's owned a hair salon, and she cut all the real estate agents and doctors and lawyers and cops and judges' hair. And so I kind of grew up as a kid in her hair salon, and I knew all the real estate agents, and they were all nice people. And there was just a different vibe, from the real estate agents I knew as a kid, than everyone else, the doctors and lawyers and cops and all that got their hair cut. There was a completely different vibe. It seemed like they were a little more alive. It seemed like they enjoyed life a little more. And it was attractive. I never thought I'd become an agent. Of course, at that point, I was a kid, but when it came down to what am I going to do with my life, and I graduated high school, I had a football scholarship. I took that. I went to school, and at the end of the day, I just hated college, to be honest with you. I just didn't like it. I felt like it was a lot of work for nothing, is what I felt like. And I mean, that's just how I felt. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying I felt like I was really working hard without really much to show for it. And I was going in debt, more and more debt, and I couldn't get excited about it. So I dropped out, and I realized you could take 1 class to get your real estate license. And I remember back as a kid, um, the real estate agents that came in the shop and how nice and friendly they were, and I said, that might be something I want to do. And so crazy enough, now that I'm where I'm at, I'm really good friends with a lot of those agents that my mom cut their hair. And it's fun to kind of look back on those times because we'll joke around about it, the kid in the salon. But yeah, that's kind of the path. My mom and dad, mom wanted me to be a lawyer, dad wanted me to be a doctor. Um, and didn't work out with the college thing, but they always kind of pushed real estate as a second option. Both of them did. So hey, I took my class. Um, then I was like, I don't know if I really want to do it. Even after I passed the class, I went back home and I roofed houses for 3 days, and I was like, I'm gonna try it. So
All right, that sounds like, dude, and I can definitely relate to that for sure. I've been in college for a little while now, and I don't feel like it's really for me either. And I feel like I'm just constant busy work, not really doing anything that I think is going to be productive in the long term. Not to say that college isn't for everybody. There are some people who may need college to go into a certain profession, but I feel like a lot it's being pushed kind of as the way, and it was kind of pressured on me by my parents as well. They wanted to see me become a doctor or a lawyer, and that's what they wanted to see me do. And I feel like it's sort of pressured on people, like you got to go to college or else you're going to be poor. And it was pressured on me from a very young age. Even in high school, they were saying, you know what, if you don't go to college, you don't get a degree. If you don't, you're not going to make any money. You're going to be homeless. And all these things. But when I eventually got turned onto real estate, and one of the great things about real estate, as Ricky says, business is unlimited. Business is unlimited. There's no cap to how much money you can make compared to a job like a doctor or a lawyer. I mean, they make a lot of money, but there is a limit to how much money you can actually make compared to real estate, where you can make as much money as you can possibly imagine, as much as you can work for. So the amount of clients that you work with, that's the amount of money that you're gonna make, and the amount of not even transactions, say relationships, because we have Ricky Carruth here. The amount of relationships that you make, that's obviously going to correlate into a higher income. And that, again, business is unlimited, and you can make as much as you can imagine. So, Ricky, there had to be a transformation. As we know, in being in the real estate business, one of the most important things that we have to do as realtors is obtain business, because we can't do deals if we don't obtain business in the first place. So, how did you go from being that little kid in the salon to eventually scaling your business and becoming that agent who's selling 100 properties a year consistently?
well, it's a lot of hard work. A lot of people see me now and they think, oh, 100 deals a year. And, I basically do real estate on the side at this point, and I'm still cranking them out, and people see it and they think, wow, that sounds great. That, that looks great. But the thing that nobody ever wants to talk about the 100,000 cold calls I made, right? Without a dialer. Dialers weren't around at the time. The 15 hours, 15 hours a day for 15 years. Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about, losing everything and sleeping in my car and, working on that oil rig. Nobody really wants to talk about any of that. I say it and they acknowledge it, but they don't ever want to talk about that part. They just want to talk about the 100 deals a year. Um, everybody has their own journey, right? Their own path. And so, the biggest thing is for me is for everyone to stop asking questions and just start taking action. Get out there and mess up a bunch. There's stages of success. Everybody has to go through the same stages, right, to get to the top. And so really successful people, they understand this and they know that the stages come from taking actions and then learning from mistakes and watching other people and reading a book here or there. There's a period where you'll go in your life and in your journey where you are super thirsty for knowledge and super thirsty for strategy and content and how-tos and the technical side of everything. Everybody goes through that period where you just want to soak up a bunch of knowledge and learn everything you can so you can apply it. Some people get stuck in that stage, right? And they just learn their whole life and never apply anything. But for me, I went through that when I lost everything. That was the biggest personal development stage that I've had in my life, where I read 100 books really quickly over like the course of a 2-year period, and really learned a lot about myself, about business, about execution, about strategy, the whole 9 yards. And since then, I've read very little books because I've just taken all that knowledge and I've went and executed. And now I learn my lessons through my execution and my failures. And so I was talking to an agent the other day. She's worried about, not knowing everything that she needs to know when she's talking to clients, or not understanding the process and this and that. And I said, this the only way you're going to learn the process and learn what you need to do is to get out there and mess up a bunch, is to get out there and take action and put yourself in those situations and mess up a whole lot. You need to be running towards failure, running towards messing up and sounding dumb and all that stuff. You need to, because that is one of the stages, right? One of the stages is not knowing exactly what you're doing, not knowing what you're talking about, not being, you've got to run to that so you can get through that stage as quick as possible. The more you hesitate to think about it and just try to prepare for it, the longer it's going to take you to get from point A to point B, because you're just prolonging the inevitable. Doesn't matter how much you prepare for it, you're always going to sound like you don't know what you're talking about, because the real thing's the real thing. Nothing can ever prepare you for the real thing, and until you put yourself in a lot of those situations, you're just not going to know how to get through it. So biggest thing, man, is to not think as much, take more action, think 10, 20% of your time, and take action, 80, 90%. And, let the failures kind of be the lessons learned, moving forward. You're not going to learn everything from a book, a seminar, a YouTube video, a podcast. You can get inspired and you can learn a few things, and you might catch a few, close a few gaps. And that's what you need. You do need that. But end of the day, if you don't take action and execute on that, you're not going to be anywhere. So, it's like cold calling. You're scared at first, you don't call, then you call, then you realize it doesn't kill you. Then you're like, okay, I can do this. And you make some more calls. Then you kind of get to where you're not as nervous, still a little nervous. Then you make some more, then you're like, okay, I can do this. What do I say? What exactly do I need to say? Then you learn how to say it. There's stages of it, and everybody goes through those same stages to get to. Nobody makes their first call. There are confident people that, make their first call and are very confident and all that stuff. Sure. But as a rule, 99% of people are nervous and scared the first time. They're nervous and scared on their first listing appointment, the first time they show property, but the winners of the world, they just do it, and they love being in those uncomfortable situations. It's like speaking on stage in front of thousands of people. First time you do it, not easy, but it gets easier, right? And the top producers and the winners and the leaders of the world understand these stages, and they just go.
No, definitely, man. That's definitely true, and I can actually very much relate to that because, uh, at first, I think a lot of people coming into real estate, and this is one of the reasons why real estate has one of the highest failure rates of any career in the United States. It has one of the highest failure rates, and that's something that you've gone out to try and help and try and lower the failure rate of new people entering into the industry. And so I think a lot of people think it's some sort of getting into real estate and becoming an agent is some sort of get rich quick scheme or easy money, quote unquote easy money. And I think that's where a lot of people fail. They think that it's going to be easy. They think that they see the people making 100 transactions. They see the people making hundreds of thousands of dollars. But then when they get into the business, they realize how difficult it really is. They don't see all the things that go on behind the scenes, like you were saying, the 100,000 cold calls, the getting hung up on, the getting rejected over and over again, days without getting a listing, months going by without getting an appointment at first, living in your car, all those difficult things that that eventually culminate in order for you to actually be successful, all the things that you have to go through in order to be successful in this business. So I can definitely understand that. And one of the things that I personally also suffer with, and I'm going to admit this on on the show, is again, like you said, the inaction thing. You want to learn everything, you want to study everything, you want to know all the methods, all the this, all of that. You watch 100 YouTube videos, you read all the books, the material, and you get stuck in what I call a little bit of analysis by paralysis. And you're so caught up in, what should I do? Should I do cold calling? Should I do door knocking? Maybe a lot of people say cold calling is dead. sorry, should I do social media advertisements? What should I do? And and you spend so much time thinking about which route to take that you have actually end up taking no route at all, and eventually it ends up resulting in a lot of failure. So it's so very, very important to just stop thinking so much, take action, and start moving. Definitely, I definitely agree with that. But when it does come to be a realtor, when it does come to being successful, obviously one of the most important things that we have to do is generate leads. So everybody goes about generating leads and business in their own special way. Um, some people prefer door knocking, knocking on doors. Some people prefer cold calling. Some people prefer social media. And and some people prefer open houses. Everybody prefers something different. So Ricky, if you could share a little bit with us how you scaled up to doing those many transactions and how you scaled up your business and building all those relationships that you did. What methods did you use?
Well, man, I've tried it all, right? And until somebody tells me something better than calling the exact property owners that you want to do business with for 2 cents a piece just to build friendships, right? Followed by a weekly email on the same day of the week forever to your entire database. Until someone tells me better than that strategy of thinking of yourself as a politician, canvassing the market, letting every single person in your market know who you are and building your name, right? Who you know, what you do, and that you're here to help, followed by a weekly email that you create every week. Until someone tells me something better than that, um, I mean, as soon as somebody tells me something better, I'll start preaching it. But until then, there's absolutely nothing better. You can buy Zillow leads for 100, 200, $300 a piece for a random person in your market's contact information. You can buy realtor.com leads, you can do Facebook, you can do all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you get your leads from. It's all going to come back to talking to them on the phone to build a friendship, to see what you can do to help them and build your brand. So, I mean, why would we do any of this other stuff if we can just cut cut that middle activity out that costs so much time and energy and just go straight to the source for 2 cents a piece for the exact property owners we want? We can't call all the property owners in our market ever. It'll never happen. So you have unlimited work to do, right? Unlimited work to do in terms of your mission should be to call every single property owner, let them know who you are, what you do, and you're here to help, right? And build that name, build that brand. Closings are happening every single day forever. And so there's no shortage there. It's all a matter of communication at that point. And like I said, you can try to run from talking to people on the phone, but you can't hide. When you get that Zillow lead, you got to call them. When you get that Facebook lead, you got to call them. When you get that realtor.com lead, you got to call them. When you get the open house leads, you got to call them the next day and follow up. When you get that sign call, you're talking to them on the phone. It all comes back to talking voice to voice to people in your market. So why not target the exact people you want for 2 cents? Make friends forever, do it on a large scale, and build your brand with a weekly email. It's very cheap, very efficient. And even if it costs a lot of money, I still feel like it's the most efficient, effective thing that you can do.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. And I see a lot of these realtors nowadays, especially in my market and many markets across the country. They're purchasing these bulk Zillow leads or these bulk realtor leads for thousands and thousands of dollars. I've seen like 10, 20, even $30,000 a month on Zillow leads. It's absolutely insane. And I know that and really we're giving money to our competitor because Zillow is sort of trying to break their way into our space a little bit. So it's really like giving money to your competitor. Meanwhile, you can actually make relationships for 2 cents a lead, like you said, and build your business that way, which is so much cheaper. And again, I guess you could say all roads lead to Rome. All roads lead to Rome, or all roads lead to the phone. No matter where you get your lead from, you get a Zillow lead, you get a realtor lead, .com lead, you get a open house lead, whatever lead you get, you're gonna have to eventually get them on a phone or get them in person, and you're gonna have to speak to them. So all roads do lead to the phone.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I mean, whoever's sitting there every day on the phone all day long is who's going to win. Even if it's Zillow leads, you got a pile of Zillow leads you've been building up for years, or online leads from somewhere, or whatever, right? I would say this: the people that are scared to make calls, they need to take Red X Geo leads. They need to get thousands of these, pick out the subdivision. You pick the subdivision you want to sell in, right? Get all the names and numbers, boom, click of a mouse, and then turn right around and pretend like that list is a pile of Zillow leads. Just pretend like it. If that's what you need to do to make yourself feel better, just pretend like these people that own property are Zillow leads you got. Because when you call the Zillow lead, what happens? They don't know who you are, why you're calling, what's going on. So we're right back to cold calling. It all comes back to learning how to communicate with people and being able to make people feel comfortable with you on the phone and in person, whatever, and building that brand and staying busy and putting in that work. Can't hide from it.
Absolutely. All roads lead to Rome. All roads lead to the phone. One of the most important things about even with cold calling is the follow up and nurturing our leads. Like you said, with you do the weekly email that helps kind of nurture your leads. So a lot of people must you must get a lot of business from those weekly emails. People reaching out to you who are subscribed on your weekly email list. It's very, very seldom that you pick up the phone and cold call for sale by owner or an expired. And the first time that you talk to them, they say, yeah, I want to list my house with you. It's very, very rare that that would actually happen. For us realtors, around 80 to 90% of our business comes from the follow-up. It comes from following up with these property owners week after week after week for 3, 6, sometimes it's 3, 6 months, sometimes even a year. So do you have a system or a process for nurturing those leads and following up with the people that you speak to?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on their situation, right? So my process is if I talk to someone and they're just not looking to do anything, anytime soon, I want to know if they have an agent they would work with, and I want to see if it's okay if I stay in touch. I want to grab that email and put them in my weekly email machine, right? And then at that point, I'm just going to let them call me back whenever they get ready to do something, because they said they weren't ready to do anything. They're not going to do anything for years, whatever. And I'll let that email do its thing, build that brand, and they'll call me when it's time. Um, as far as people who say, well, I want to do something next week or in 30 days or 60 days or 3 months or 6 months or a year or even 2 years, if they say they're looking to do something at some point, I want to know why, right? I want to know why they're thinking about buying or selling in whatever amount of time they said that they were thinking about buying or selling. I want to know the backstory, right? I want to know what's going on in their life that's making them decide to buy or sell. There's something going on in their life. It's not just hey, I just want to buy or sell this piece of property for the heck of it. There's something happening behind the scenes, in their life. Their kids went to college, they lost a job, got a job, mom died, something's going on. I want to know, and I want to relate to that story, and I want to talk to them about that, because that's the bigger reason. That gets into really helping people, is understanding what's bigger than the transaction, that's behind the transaction. And then and only then can you really truly help them, when you understand what's going on behind the scenes. So once I understand that, then I can create a custom game plan around that with them about how we're going to proceed, what the game plan is. Okay, you want to do this then because of this? Well, this is what we should do. And I let them know when I'm going to follow up, what the next step is, what we're going to do, and when we're going to do it. And that way, there's a lot of agents, they'll say, somebody will say, oh, I'm looking to sell in 6 months, or I'm looking to sell in two months or whatever. And they're like, okay, well, what you looking for and this and that. And okay, cool. Well, I'll be in touch with you. And they don't really they don't establish a game plan with the prospect about what the next step's really going to be and when it's going to happen. You got to set the expectations with each prospect of what that follow-up is going to look like. That way they're expecting you to do certain things at certain times. Otherwise, we're just floating in the wind and we don't know what's going on. So it's good to set those expectations and have a plan in place with your prospects. And it's different every time because everybody has different situations and everybody has different timelines and motivations and so on and so forth. So, that's one thing I don't like about mainstream training in real estate coaching, is because they put all agents in a box and say, this is how you follow up with every single lead. How can that be? How can you have the same process for every single lead when every single lead has a different situation, different timeline, different motivation? It doesn't make any sense. Until I know those three things, I can't really say what the follow-up process is going to be. I need to know that before I can even decide how we need to proceed. So I create a custom follow-up plan for each prospect, depending on their situation. And if someone's just not interested ever, I'll let the weekly email do its thing. If I have a prospect that was wanting to do something or I show a property to that went ghost on me, at that point, I'll let the weekly email do its thing. If they said, hey, I'm going to sell in 2 months, I create the game plan, I follow up, they don't answer, they go ghost. I shoot them a couple texts, I make a couple calls, leave a couple voicemails, do a few emails, nothing. I'll let the email do its thing. They'll come back to me in 6 months, a year, whatever. That weekly email is literally a safety net on the back of your business that catches any crumbs that fall through the cracks and at least gives you an opportunity and a chance to do business with that person in the future. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but at least it gives you a chance.
Right. No, absolutely. And when we speak about all those things and the thing that you said about mainstream coaching, that eventually leads to the birth of the Zero to Diamond coaching program, which is
Yeah.
your baby. So how exactly did that come to be? What inspired you to make the Zero to Diamond coaching program, and how exactly did you go about formulating this process for agents to follow?
Well, it all started with me wanting to write a book about my story, going through the crash and learning what I learned and making the business about people and getting to 100 deals and all that stuff. That's where it all started, is I wanted to write a book. And then I ended up speaking at a huge real estate event in 2016. And, the response I got from the crowd was just amazing. And so that made me say, you know what, I need to finish my book. People need to hear my story and need to hear what I have to say. And that was kind of the birth of it. And then from there, I started doing social media, and I created a website and a course, and just took it one step at a time, and just kept grinding and grinding. I've got over 40,000 agents all over the world that are enrolled in the program right now, and growing by 50 to 100 a day. And, it's fun. It's fun. I get messages all the time from agents that are huge success stories from it. I've got thousands of testimonials and people who doubled and tripled their income. I got a guy that sold 100 properties his very first year. I got new agents that are knocking down, I mean, I've got an agent right now that's he's on his like 12th deal, 9 months in the business. So it's incredible to watch what's happening and the message that I'm putting out there, because it's the exact opposite of all the other coaches, right? All the other coaches want you to only deal with prospects who are motivated now. And I'm saying, hey, every human is a lead. They're going to do something now or in the future. Let's create that relationship. We're here anyway. Why throw away this time? Why throw away this human, right? That might do something in the future. They've got high pressure scripts. They're charging, they're taking new agents and they're saying, put the coaching on your credit card, go into debt, using my coaching program. It's really bad. That's what inspired me to go free, was seeing what the other coaches were doing and how they were taking advantage of agents, and just trying to create a movement, man, that like I said from the beginning, is going to pass on from generation to generation.
No, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. And that's what really differentiates, in my opinion, the Zero to Diamond coaching program with everything else. Probably one of the first free real estate coaching programs to ever hit the market. And, it's always, a bit amazing. I know that a lot of people must ask you, when all of these real estate gurus and people in the space are making a killing, selling their courses and selling their processes and systems and their coaching and their mentorship, you decided to go and make the step of giving a completely free coaching program, which really just sort of shook the space a little bit. And I think that a lot of things are going to change ever since that has occurred. And that was just very very. It was, I guess you could say, a very trailblazing moment, because that was the first time in real estate history that that's actually happened, where a coaching program has come out completely for free for agents to use, compared to all the other agents in the space who sell their courses for and their coaching and their mentorship for sometimes very high prices. So
Right.
that definitely differentiates it. So Ricky, how do you essentially stay motivated? I mean, it's a grind, man. Real estate is a grind. There's a lot of work involved. There's a lot of things, a lot of follow up, a lot of calls, a lot of things that have to be done. A lot of nasty things you have to take on. And I think that the majority of our business is hearing nasty things and dealing with nasty things. So how do you stay motivated? How did you stay motivated throughout the financial recession when you lost your job, you lost everything? had to work on an oil rig, was sleeping in your car, and all those rough moments. What motivated you and what pushed you to go forward and continue to fight, continue to work, and then eventually start, go all the way up to making 100 deals ever since 2013? What motivated you, and how do you stay motivated to continue doing the things that you do?
I think at the end of the day, man, that it all comes down to absolutely just not worrying about anything external, things you can't control, markets crashing, interest rates, supply, demand, what people think, you just have zero control of any of that, only focusing on me, right? The internal, and just trying to be the best me I can be. It doesn't matter how much money I have in my bank account or what kind of success I have. A lot of people will hit their goal by September and then they'll take off the rest of the year. My goal is to be the best I can be and give it all I got all year long. So, when I lost everything, that was fine. I just, transferred my energy from real estate to roofing houses and then eventually to an oil rig and then back to real estate. I mean, I don't care what I'm doing. I'm just going to be the best I can be at whatever it is I am doing. Right. That's what makes me a little bit above average, is because, back when I was, doing landscaping and delivering pizzas and concierge at a hotel and roofing houses and serving tables and all the different things that I did, I was always trying to be number one in the world at whatever that was. So, as a young person, as a teenager, or somebody just starting out in life and trying to figure out this whole thing, business and life and making money and stuff, it's like, take whatever job you can get and become the best in the world at it, regardless if it's a barista at coffee at Starbucks or a, retail store salesperson or whatever it is, right? You take it and you take pride in it and try to become the best. And what does that do? That prepares you as you find a new opportunity that's better to take that new opportunity and become the best at that. And then you'll find another opportunity. And if you've trained yourself to become the best at whatever you're doing, and you're constantly moving up the ladder and becoming the best at whatever it is you're doing at the time, you're eventually going to end up in a career at some point where, you're becoming the best in the world at something. And, now all of a sudden you're super incredibly successful. And it's all because you took your job at Starbucks seriously. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's really what it all comes down to for me. It's just trying to be the best, trying to give it all I got. I don't care about much anything else. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter, like I say, how much money or success I have or what people think or whatever. I'm just trying to, I don't know what else I would do. To be honest with you, I don't know what else I would do. I enjoy doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest takeaway.
That's awesome, man. It's always very, very important to do it, to love what you do sincerely. And I know a lot of young people and people in general, they're chasing the paycheck. They're going after these jobs that they may not even be interested in, just to make money and just to make a check, and they end up living very unhappy and unfulfilled lives. That's why it's so important to be in a career that you're really happy with. Of course, money is always going to be important, but if you're not happy, then what good is any of it? And we know that being a realtor, it's like a very challenging career, and there's a lot of uphill. It's a very uphill battle. There's a lot of difficult moments. There's a lot of hard things and problems that we have to encounter, and that causes a lot of people to give up. I believe it's like the majority of realtors who get into the business end up leaving within a year.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you say to those realtors out there who are struggling, who may be struggling financially, who may be struggling to keep the lights on, who may be not able to do the business that they want to do, and they're struggling, and they maybe consider quitting, and they might consider leaving the business, and they're just in a very bad place? What is your message to those people?
Well, my first question is, how many calls are you making? Right? Because I get messages from people, every so often, and they're saying, "Oh, I'm getting foreclosed on next month. What do I do?" And I'm like, "Well," and these are people I've been, trying to coach for years, and I won't hear from them for a while, and they'll come back and they'll say, "Oh, I'm getting foreclosed on. My family's about to lose our house and everything." I'm like, "Have you been making your calls?" And they're like, "No." And so I'm thinking, so you're willing to lose everything you got, your house, your job, probably your family. I mean, they're not going to, I mean, it's going to be tough to, stay with someone who won't put forth the effort to even keep their house. or you're willing to lose everything you got over making calls. You would rather lose everything than make a phone call just just to try to build your business. You would rather, and the thing is they'll contact me way too late. Like now it's in process. They're foreclosing in a month, and they're still not making their calls, and now they're calling me. It's like, you should have let me know about this 6 months ago, which they did. These people are notorious. They'll reach out, they'll talk about stuff, they won't make calls, and they never make it. So my first question is going to be, how many calls are you making on a daily basis? That tells me where your work ethic is and where your head is, and if you're really in the game, and if you really want this. I mean, that's it, plain and simple. I got to know that first, because like we've been saying, I don't care where you get your leads from. You got to call them. You got to call them. And so if you're not making calls, I don't care if it's Zillow leads, Geo leads, Facebook leads, Realtor.com, open house, friends and family. I don't care who you're calling. If you're not calling, you're not selling. And if you're not willing to call, then maybe, just maybe, this business isn't for you. Right?
Right.
Maybe this business isn't for you. I mean, that could be a cold hard fact, because 90% of agents don't make it. And so, are you a statistic? That's what you have to ask yourself. And some people, they're just not willing to do what they have to do to succeed. They're just not willing to do what they have to do to succeed. So you have to ask yourself, am I willing to do anything to succeed? Right? Am I willing to do what it takes to succeed? That's what you have to wake up and ask yourself every day. Am I willing to do what it takes to succeed? If so, at 9 o'clock, I'm going to be on that phone, and I'm going to be excited. I'm going to be, enthusiastic. I'm going to have fun with it. I'm going to ask people what I can do to help, and I'm going to build my brand. That's the name of the game. You actually, when you got your real estate license, a lot people won't tell you this when you sign up for the class and stuff like that. But when you sign up for the class and get your license, you're actually signing up to be, in one form or another, a telemarketer. And a lot of people can't stomach that. And they get their license and they think business is just going to flow in. They're not going to have to do much. It's going to be easy. I don't know where they got that idea from, but people think that, and they get in the business, and then, reality hits them. Um, and then it's a cold, hard world at that point. So real estate is extremely fun. Funnest place on earth when you're selling. It is the worst place in the world to live if you're not selling. You got fees coming in. You're doubting yourself. There's failure. Everything's negative, doom and gloom. But when you're selling stuff, you're on top of the world. Nobody can bring you down. It's an amazing business. But if you're not selling, then you're in a really bad place. And and it all comes down to one thing. Are you going to make calls? Or are you not going to make calls? It's really black and white.
I can definitely relate to that. It does sometimes it feels like you're on top of the world, and sometimes it feels like you don't even have a job.
Yeah.
It's like that. I don't know if you saw the Wolf of Wall Street, where that's
Yeah.
by Jordan Belfort. He's standing in front of his company, his brokerage, and he's telling people to pick up the phone and start dialing, and he's hyping everybody up. So it just reminded me a little bit of that scene. Ricky, there's been a lot of tension in the real estate world as of lately, because there's a lot of new people coming into the business. It's been being flooded with a lot of discount brokers. Zillow is opening up a new brokerage. AI is getting thrown into the equation. Salaried agents are getting thrown into the occasion, into the equation. Um, when we're seeing all this tension going on in the real estate world, what's your opinion on that? A lot of people are scared. A lot of people are thinking, agents are going to be replaced. Is it worth getting into the business at this point? Is there any long term future for this business, or are we all doomed? So how can real estate agents really compete and offer their value in a way that we can show that we are providing a full value service? We're providing a human to human interaction, and things like that, which is what's going to essentially differentiate us from AI and discount brokers and things like that. So what do you say to those people who are a little bit cautious or little apprehensive in the thoughts of Zillow opening their own brokerage and AI and discount brokers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if there's anything that these discount brokerages have taught us is that real estate agents aren't going anywhere. If you look at the data and you look at what's really going on, you realize this is a super positive moment for real estate agents in terms of the longevity of our careers. True, our compensation could fluctuate. Heck, it could go down, it could go up, right? That could fluctuate because commissions are negotiable. And it's a supply and demand thing. But here's the thing: it's not going to go to zero, right? Discount brokers have proved that through the fact that they're losing money, right? Discount brokers lose a lot of money. Redfin loses a lot of money. And it's because the work that goes behind each transaction is worth more than a discount, whatever they charge. It's obviously more. That's why they are losing money, right? They need to charge more to get into a break even or positive cash flow situation because of the amount of work that's involved in every transaction. So as far as Zillow opening their own brokerage, great. They're just going to be another KW, Remax, EXP, Keller Williams, Caldwell Banker, Berkshire Hathaway. They're just another brokerage. That's not in any way a threat to real estate agents. They're just another brokerage you can go work for, just like any of these other brokerages. For them, they're not saying let's get away with this, let's do away with real estate agents. They're saying real estate agents come work for us, right? They're not doing away with them. They're giving them jobs. People are like, Zillow is going to take over and we're not going to exist. They haven't done anything. There's nothing on the horizon. Might something come up that disrupts how much we get paid as agents? Sure. But there's nothing on the horizon that is even remotely close to replacing real estate agents. I would love to hear the argument of what's out there that somebody thinks could potentially get to a point where, we're replaced. It's just not going to happen. To me, it's like the old LegalZoom thing. Everybody said lawyers were going to be a thing of the past when LegalZoom came out. Lawyers are still, there's more lawyers now than ever, making just as much money or more than ever. So real estate agents are in the same boat. You know, uh, there's really, now if our commissions get fluctuated down a little, it's still extremely lucrative. Let's say it goes down. Right now I get paid 5 to 6%. Normally split that with another broker, whoever the listing or selling agent is. Right, 5 or 6% is what I take listings for. Let's say it goes to a 4 to 5%, or maybe just a flat 4%, and agents get 2 and 2. Still extremely lucrative, right? Still extremely lucrative, and we will be just fine as an industry living off 2% per transaction. I mean, a lot of the deals I'm doing are 2.5% right now. 2%. Sometimes I actually come down to 2% on some deals. So it just kind of depends. It's just all going to come back to relationships, right? And so Zillow thinks they have all the leads. They don't have all the leads. Human beings are everywhere in the market. You just go out there and talk to people, right? And build those relationships and build your personal brand in your local market. No one can stop you from doing that. No one can stop people from liking you enough to wanting you to handle their real estate transaction for them, right? Period. End of story. So no, it's a fun conversation and debate, and it's going to be fun to watch, over the next, decade, to see where this whole thing goes. And it's very interesting, and I'm enjoying watching, from the sidelines, really. I mean, because everybody that's in that argument is kind of, I'm not in that argument. I'm over here on the sidelines watching people talk about that. And I find it humorous, to be honest with you.
Right. No, definitely. And I think about this all the time. We being a full commission brokerage, if we're taking 6%, which is the market rate, or like Tom, I think Tom Ferry made a video about this, where you're taking 7%, which is above the market rate. You have to be differentiating yourself and showing your value. What do you have that other discount brokerages don't? And discount brokerages aren't new. They've been around since the conception of real estate, and since the conception of real estate brokerages, essentially, and they still only own around 10 to 15% of the market share. So they're not anything new, and there's a reason why people continue to use full commission brokerages and traditional brokerage models compared to discount brokerage.
Look at the customer reviews, man. Look at the customer reviews of the discount brokers. It's horrible, right? People are having really horrible experiences because discount brokers normally have a different person handling each step of the transaction, right? How can you make the transaction go smooth when, you're going from person to person? One person does the listing appointment, next person does the listing upload, next person handles all the showings, next person's negotiating. Get a different person for all that stuff. Well, and the reason they do that is because they can't really afford to pay somebody to do the whole thing like a traditional broker because it's so much work and nobody would want to do that. And plus, as a salaried person, you're not going to answer your phone after hours and on the weekends, right? So they can't get a hold of anybody. It's tough. It's tough. So yeah, like I say, interesting moving forward, you know, looking forward to watching.
Definitely. As I like to say, if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. All right, let's wrap this up. I'll ask one final question, and then we'll wrap everything up. Uh, Ricky, you've done everything so far. You've gone into the real estate business. You killed it. You're doing 100 transactions in 2013. You're killing it. You did the coaching program. You have one of the most successful Zero to Diamond, which is Ricky Coaching Program, is one of the most successful real estate coaching program that essentially exists right now in the world. So you crushed it in the coaching game. You're now doing public speaking. You're crushing it in the public speaking game. You have your team at EXP Realty, and you have so many people who work under you. You're crushing into that as well. It looks like you came, Vinny Vita Vici, you came, you saw, and you conquered. And you conquered everything that there is. What's next for you? Are you planning on maybe going and conquering the next thing and becoming a serial entrepreneur and building multiple businesses and scaling? Or scaling? Are you planning on scaling this real estate business, or are you ready to put your things down? Maybe retire, maybe take things a little bit more easy, take a hands-off approach, go off to Bora Bora on the beach and sip a margarita and spend time with your family and just walk off into the sunset. What's your plan?
Mm, Nothing right now. I'm just going to keep pushing right now. I could hang it up, like you say, right now if I wanted to, but I'm just not there yet, right? I got a long way to go, I think, because I'm trying to build a real legacy here, especially in the real estate industry. But it's interesting you brought up the general entrepreneurial, avenue, because that's something that I'm definitely dabbling with, just moving into the serial entrepreneurial, several different businesses, speaking to huge crowds. Really, the speaking is kind of something I really want to move forward in and go to the next level with, speaking to more than just real estate agents. Because there's a lot about my story and what I do that resonates with a lot of different industries. Um, and so, I'm just real interested to see kind of where it goes. Right now, I'm just continuing to keep my head down and put work in and just see what opportunities pop up. That's kind of where I am right this second. And opportunities have popped up and I've taken advantage. And so I'm just going to continue working hard until I see, bigger opportunities and, just kind of see where they go, but definitely not ready to clock out. Definitely continuing to clock in early and just kind of see where this whole thing goes. So yeah, just having fun right now, enjoying the process of helping people, and just want to positively affect millions of people. So it's kind of where I'm headed right now.
I think you're going to be remembered as one of the greats of the real estate industry. Your name is definitely going to be hanging up there in the Real Estate Hall of Fame. So, all right, everybody, we're going to wrap it up for today. Obviously, I got to plug myself again. My name is Ali. I'm a real estate agent here on Long Island. If you're interested in buying, selling, leasing, or renting, I want to make your process as easy, simple, and convenient as possible. Be sure to give me a call. 631-604-8567. Again, that's 631-604-8567. Ricky, where can the good people of the internet find you?
Man, I'm everywhere, really. Just search Ricky Carruth on any platform. You can find my real estate coaching at 02diamond.com. And I answer every single message on Instagram. If anyone wants to say hello or ask a question, that's the best place to get me. I answer all those personally. So reach out and say hello.
Absolutely. We will have all of Ricky's information down there in the description. Be sure to give this video a like, hit that thumbs up button, hit that notification bell so that you get notified every single time we upload a video. hit that subscribe button so that you can help this channel grow, and share it with your friends if you thought that you heard something that was beneficial for you today, or motivating. I hope that we did a good job. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you, everybody, for watching.